Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 6 of our revision lecture, Audit CA Intermediate. I hope I'm audible to you. Don't worry, the class is just going to start. I've just come live, just checking my settings and looking at the, making sure everything is right before I start my session. Yeah, today is our last session. We end our revision lecture today. Yeah, so my plan was basically to have a 6-hour session, 1 hour per day. I think I've given you more than 10 hours of session, right? I promise. Yeah, so, and I think examinations have been extended. The notifications are slowly coming into the institute website, and I'm able to get. I think there's some connection issue. Let me just sort it out. 1 second. July end is going for July end and August. So to learn better, please use this opportunity. It's a huge opportunity that you have got because you will not get these moments again. It's something that you have to take your maximum benefit. You have to use this opportunity. Best time for you to clear your examination. Get 3 more months to prepare is huge. 3 more months to prepare is huge. You can't imagine the time that you have got to prepare. And I'm telling you, just don't worry. We will somehow try to make you connected. We will try to get you into the subjects, give you more classes if possible. We'll all try that, but I want you to make sure that you make use of this opportunity. That is what I want. Don't lose. You don't get disinterested. Don't you get disinterested. It is now or never. It's now or never. It's the best attempt to clear your examination. You cannot give the excuse of not getting time to prepare. You have enough time to prepare. You don't have a room for an excuse. Those students who always wanted to write 2 groups, those who always wanted to get good marks in CA Intermediate, come on, man, it's your time to learn. It's your time to do it. You don't lose this opportunity. I want you to take this opportunity to the best of your abilities. We are all here to help you. We are all here to give you maximum guidance. Yeah, everything can be done. Yeah, as far as the group is concerned, many students are requesting me to have a channel or a group so that I can keep connected with you. So in the description of this live video, I have created a Telegram channel for you all. So you can please subscribe to the Telegram channel. Okay, Telegram channel. The Telegram channel can be used for getting updates on audit, few things which I feel is very important. All those things I'll be updating. If you can't log in through the link that I've given, you can also just type Audit CA Inter Avinash Kulur, KULUR. Okay, in the Telegram. I have made it a public group for now. I'll just type it. It is Audit CA Inter Avinash Kulur. Avinash Kulur can be just you can just subscribe to that channel, and I would be giving you updates. I would be giving you Telegram channel. I would be giving you certain maybe not videos but audio if possible. then some question papers. I'll keep on uploading question papers so that you can keep on writing exams. I will upload the answer keys also. So all these will help you to keep the momentum going. I know when the time is more to learn, sometimes what happens is we tend to lose that touch. I think these revision lectures that we started have made many students to come back to their normal way of learning. So like that, what we'll plan is, the exams are anyways in the month of July. So let's wait, and maybe we'll have a full-fledged revision batch. I'll try to have a full-fledged revision batch online for you all, maybe towards the month of June and or July first week, so that once you get prepared with the subject, you will be able to revise with me. So I'll try to plan a full-fledged revision class for you again, covering all the topics, online. So all those details and updates I will put forward to you whenever I have made the plan and I'm ready for actually bringing out with the plan. So let's hope that the time that we have got, we would use this time to the best of our abilities, and we will be able to clear the examinations in the way we want to clear the examination. So I really hope that every student take this positively. This pandemic, which has affected many people around the world, somewhere many of them are suffering. Yeah, so because of which we are getting more time to prepare. It is a really sad moment that this situation is bringing postponement of examinations, but something where a crisis also brings an opportunity for few. A crisis brings an opportunity somewhere. We need to grab that opportunity. See, you are my first batch of students whom I am teaching online. I've created a new opportunity. I have now come to meet new people, a new set of students who are listening to my classes. Using an opportunity to gain that opportunity is very, very important. So for you, the opportunity is there to clear the examination. So please use this and make sure that you are able to pass the exam. Okay, so not wasting much of our time. So let's go to the discussion. Now we had few discussions left on company audit. Section 139 we had not, so we have not completed discussing on company audit. So we'll continue with section 139, a little bit more on company audit, and then we will be trying to cover a little bit of areas of planning, whatever possible in the 1 hour that we have got in the evening. Okay, so let's try to move forward. Let's go ahead. Let's discuss about section 139, appointment of auditors. Come on, everybody, take your book and paper, book and pen. Come on, book and pen ready. The class is going to start. Let's start the class. So let's do section 139, the appointment of the auditors of the company. I think already we have done the appointment of auditors of the company as far as a first auditor and a subsequent auditor is concerned. Yes, now I've become small. Yes, happy everyone? Let me show you the material. Yes, ready? Fine. Your book is ready, your pen is ready. Come on, let's do it. Come on. So first auditors, we have already learned regarding the first auditor's appointment of government company and other than government company. We also learned regarding the appointment of subsequent auditors of government company and other than government company. So if you remember, just to have a small recap, quickly revise, the first auditor of other than government company shall be appointed by the board of directors within a period of, come on, 30 days from the date of registration of the company. If the board of directors fails to appoint, they shall inform the members, who shall within 90 days at an extraordinary general meeting appoint the first auditor, and the auditor so appointed shall hold office till the conclusion of first AGM. Are you getting my point? That is the appointment of the first auditor of other than government company. But in case of a government company, the first auditor shall be appointed by the C&AG within a period of 60 days from the date of registration of the company. If the C&AG fails to appoint, then they shall inform the board of directors, who shall within 30 days appoint the first auditor. And in case the board of directors fails to appoint, they shall inform the members, who shall within 60 days at an extraordinary general meeting appoint the first auditor. Yes, the auditor so appointed shall hold office till the conclusion of the first AGM. This was in case of a first auditor of government company and other than government company. Then in case of subsequent auditors of other than government company, every company must in its first annual general meeting appoint an individual or a firm as its auditor who shall hold off the conclusion of which AGM? 60 AGM, and thereafter till the conclusion of every 60 AGM, yes or no? But in case of government company, the appointment of subsequent auditor will be done by the C and AG every financial year, for every financial year within 180 days from the commencement of the financial year. Within how many days? 180 days from the commencement of the financial year. Are you getting my points? So basically, if you look into, there is a difference between the appointment of auditors in case of government company and other than government company. Are you getting my points? Now what we have to learn is, after the appointment of a first auditor or a subsequent auditor, in case there is an event which happens, what kind of an event? Where the auditor appointed resigns, or auditor appointed dies, auditor appointed disqualifies. There could be something that happens. There could be something that happens to that auditor, an event that happens due to which the auditor's office becomes vacant. Due to which the auditor's office becomes vacant. So please understand, there is an auditor in the company. He may be the first auditor, he may be the subsequent auditor. Okay, he may be the first auditor, he may be the subsequent auditor. But there is an event which happens due to which the auditor's position goes vacant. Due to which the auditor's position goes vacant. How does it become vacant? Maybe because he died, maybe because he resigned, maybe because he became disqualified. Due to some reason, his position becomes vacant. Now, position becomes vacant. Now, what you have to understand is, when such vacancy arises in the office of the auditor, that vacancy is called as casual vacancy. That vacancy is called as casual vacancy in the office of the auditor or the position of the auditor. So this is called as casual vacancy in the office of the auditor or the position of the auditor. Now what we are going to learn is how this casual vacancy will be filled by the company. Because once the casual vacancy arises in the company, they don't have an auditor in the company. Now what the company should do, they should bring in an auditor and fill that casual vacancy. Now how to fill the casual vacancy is what we have to learn. For that purpose, 139 subsection 8 gives you casual vacancy. Now casual vacancy, where there is a casual vacancy, basically what happens is 139 subsection 8, it is talking, said one moment there is a casual vacancy, be it due to resignation or any other reason. Okay, so resignation is one reason, but any other reason. But imagine there is a casual vacancy. In case of casual vacancy, in case of other than government company, the moment there is a casual vacancy, within a period of 30 days from the date of vacancy, the vacancy shall be filled by the board of directors of the company. So in case of company other than a government company, the moment there is a casual vacancy, the vacancy shall be filled by the board of directors within a period of 30 days from the date of vacancy. Within a period of 30 days from the date of the vacancy. So the moment the vacancy arises, what vacancy arises? Casual vacancy arises. The company, the board of directors will fill the vacancy within a period of 30 days from the date of vacancy. Are you getting my points? Now, the question that will arise is, once the vacancy is filled, the new auditor who is appointed, okay, by the board of directors within 30 days from the date of vacancy, till when will he hold his office? Till when will he continue as the auditor of the company? Now, like in case of first auditor, we said he will hold office till the conclusion of which AGM? The first auditor will hold office till the conclusion of which AGM? Which AGM? First AGM, correct? Then in case of subsequent auditor, we are discussing about other than government company. In case of subsequent auditor, once he is appointed, he will hold office till the conclusion of which AGM? Subsequent auditor of other than government company will hold office till the conclusion of which AGM? 60 AGM. Which AGM? 60 AGM, correct? So basically, first auditor till the conclusion of first AGM, subsequent auditor till the conclusion of 60 AGM. Now the question is, what about the auditor who has been appointed during the filling of casual vacancy? Till when will he continue as the auditor of the company? And for that purpose, the section says, the auditor so appointed shall hold office till the conclusion of next AGM. Till the conclusion of next AGM. Are you getting my points? The casual vacancy filled by the board of directors, the auditor appointed will hold office till the conclusion of next AGM. You understand? Next AGM. Okay, next AGM. Now, this is in case of which company? Other than government company. Which company? Other than government company. Now, listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. Other than government company. Now, there is a small catch here. The casual vacancy in the office of the auditor could be due to what? Death, disqualification, resignation, removal, etc. Correct? But in case of an other than government company, if the casual vacancy is caused due to the resignation of the auditor, due to what? Resignation of the auditor. That means the casual vacancy had arisen in the office of the auditor in the company because the previous auditor resigned. Because of the resignation of the previous auditor. Resignation of the previous auditor. Are you getting my points? So in that case, what you have to do is the same process will follow. What is the same process? The board of directors will have to appoint the auditor within a period of how many days? 30 days from the date of vacancy. But however, when there is a resignation, the auditor appointed by the board of directors, whoever has been appointed by the board of directors as the auditor, the appointment shall be approved. The appointment shall be approved by the company at a general meeting. At a which meeting? General meeting convened within 3 months from the date of recommendation by the board. Convened within 3 months from the date of recommendation by the board. Which means what? In only where the casual vacancy has arisen due to the resignation of the previous auditor, the appointment still will be done by the board of directors within a period of how many days? 30 days from the date of vacancy. However, the appointment will become completely valid only if the appointment is approved by the company at a general meeting. General meeting, which means what? The approval can be obtained either at an annual general meeting or at an extraordinary general meeting, because the term used is general meeting. So the approval should be obtained by the company at a general meeting within how many months? 3 months from the date of recommendation by the board of directors. This is only in case of a casual vacancy due to the resignation of the auditor. In case of which company? Other than government company. In case of which company? Other than government company. Are you getting my point? Now, what happens if there is a casual vacancy in case of a government company? In government company, here it is very simple. The moment there is a casual vacancy in case of a government company, the C&AG shall fill the vacancy within a period of 30 days from the date of vacancy. The C&AG shall fill the vacancy within a period of 30 days from the date of vacancy. Are you getting my points? Are you getting my point? In case C&AG is unable to fill the vacancy, then it will be filled by the board of directors within a period of 30 days. Within a period of how many days? 30 days. And the auditor so appointed shall hold office till the conclusion of which AGM? Till the conclusion of which AGM? Next AGM. Till the conclusion of next AGM. Are you getting my points? In case of government company, the first auditor will hold office till the conclusion of first AGM. Subsequent auditor will hold office till the conclusion of the AGM. And casual vacancy filling, the auditor who so appointed will be holding office till the conclusion of the next AGM. Okay. Now I have a very small doubt. I want a help from you. Now, you see, in case of other than government company, we had what? A point called as in case of resignation that within 3 months approval should be obtained from the by the members in a general meeting. Yes or no? But you see, in case of a government company, they are not discussing anything about a casual vacancy due to resignation. Why? What do you think? Why is that there is no casual vacancy due to resignation extra point in case of government company, but in case of other than government company you have something called as due to resignation the approval should be obtained within 3 months from the date of recommendation by the board. But in case of government company, you see, you don't have anything like that. You don't have anything like due to resignation this has to be done, that has to be done. It is only one single situation. Casual vacancy should be filled by the board of by the C&AG within 30 days. If C&AG cannot fill, the board of directors will fill it. So why there is no separate discussion on resignation in case of a government company is my question. Yes, I can find few answers here. Yeah. So the answers that you have come across, I'll tell you, correct, one answer is right. See, because the simple reason is, you see, the appointment is always done by the C and AG, no? The appointment is always done by the C and AG. You see, first auditor who appoints? The C and AG appoints, correct? Then after that, in case of subsequent auditor, who appoints? C and AG appoints, yes or no? Then even in casual vacancy, who is appointing the auditor? C and AG is appointing the auditor. Are you getting my points? You see, in case of other than government company, what happens? In case of a subsequent auditor, the appointment is done by whom? By the members. The appointment is done by whom? By the members. And there is an auditor who is appointed by the members who resigned. Okay, now that is why the Companies Act says, now if the auditor resigns in case of other than government company, the auditor being appointed by the members, then if the board of directors is bringing a new auditor, take their approval within 3 months from the date of recommendation by the board. Are you getting my points? Do you understand? That is why in case of government company, you need not require anything extra with respect to resignation, because be it resignation or any other reason, the appointment is always done by the C and AG. Do you get the points? That is why you should always understand why there is a difference there. Otherwise, tomorrow you might get a confusion. Why is that they have not discussed anything about resignation in government company? The reason is very simple. Government company, always the appointment first is done by the C and AG. The power is given to C and AG. Only if the C and AG fails, then the board of directors comes into picture in case of first auditor and in case of the casual vacancy situation. Are you getting my points? Okay. So this is in case of casual vacancy. This is in case of a casual vacancy. Now we have learned qualification, disqualification of an auditor. We have learned appointment of auditors also. Okay, now why don't we learn the removal of auditor? What is it? Removal of auditor. Removal of auditor. Now we know who can be appointed. We know how to appoint him. Now let's remove him. Let's remove him. Okay, so let's see how to remove him. Removal of auditor. And it is important because of the introduction of a new subsection called as subsection 5. So that is why you have to focus a little bit on removal of auditor. That is section 140. Okay, removal of auditor. Now removal of auditor, what you have to understand is, and I feel it could be a question in the exam. Removal of auditor, there is a chance it could be asked as a question in the exam. So just be very careful regarding the removal of auditor. Now removal of auditors, you see, it says according to section 140 subsection 1, the auditor appointed under section 139 may be removed from his office before expiry of his term only by a special resolution of the company. Only by a special resolution of the company. Now listen to me carefully. Removal of auditor before expiry of term. If you have a book and a pen with you, do one thing. You just write removal of auditor in the middle, divide it into two. Okay, one part is removal after the expiry of term. Second part is removal before the expiry of term. Understand there are two kinds of removal. One is you are removing the auditor before the expiry of his term, and second you are removing the auditor after the expiry of his term. Okay, one removal is removal before expiry of his term. That means you are removing the auditor before his term expires. So what is the term of the auditor? The term of the auditor we have already learned. In case of all these things, that is till the conclusion of the first AGM, till the conclusion of the sixth AGM, till the conclusion of the next AGM. This is basically the term of the auditor. From when you are appointed till you end your term. That is a term. So what is before expiry of term? That is, imagine there is a subsequent auditor of other than government company. He will hold office from the conclusion of that meeting till the conclusion of 60 AGM. Now, if you are removing the auditor before the conclusion of the 60 AGM, that is what we call as removal before expiry of term. Are you getting my points? Now, what do you mean by removal after expiry of term? That means the term of the auditor ends. The term of the auditor ends, and after the term ends, you are removing him. It looks little confusing. After the term ends, you are removing him. Okay, removal before expiry of term is making little sense. What is that? That is, before the term ends, you are removing him. But in case of removal after expiry of term, you are removing a person after he completes his term. You are removing a person after he completes his term. Okay, after he completes his term. What do you mean by removal of a person after he completes his term? After he completes his term. Now, what you should understand basically is, every auditor who retires when his term ends, every auditor who retires when his term ends, he is eligible for what? Reappointment. He is eligible for what? Reappointment. Every retiring auditor is eligible for what? Reappointment. That means whenever his term ends, he is always eligible to be what? Reappointed. Now, I'll show you something. He is always eligible for reappointment. Now, listen to me carefully. This is what now you have to learn before going forward. See, what is this? A retiring auditor, read with me, a retiring auditor may be reappointed at an annual general meeting if, point number 1, he is not disqualified for reappointment. Point number 2, he has not given the company a notice in writing of his unwillingness to be reappointed, and a special resolution has not been passed in that meeting appointing some other auditor or providing expressly that he shall not be reappointed. That means 3 conditions should be satisfied if you have to reappoint the retiring auditor. What are the 3 conditions? Condition number 1. 1, he should not be disqualified. Why? Because if he is disqualified, you cannot reappoint him. It's a simple point, correct? Second, he should not have given a notice in writing about his unwillingness to be reappointed, which means what? He has not given a notice saying that he is not interested, which means there is a consent. That means he wants to be reappointed. Otherwise, what will the retiring auditor will do? He will give a notice in writing saying that don't reappoint me. So if he is saying don't reappoint, you cannot reappoint him. You cannot reappoint a person without his consent. Are you getting my point? So 1, if he is not disqualified. 2nd, he has not expressed his unwillingness. And 3rd, you have not passed a special resolution in that meeting appointing some other auditor. Now, if you have appointed some other auditor instead of him, which means you have removed him. Correct? So there also you cannot reappoint him. Or you have passed a resolution in the meeting saying that you should not reappoint him. That the members are passing a resolution in the meeting saying that the retiring auditor should not be what? Reappointed. See, if you are confused, think this way. Can we reappoint retiring auditors? Yes or no? Can we reappoint retiring auditors? Yes or no? Now we will say yes. But tell me, if he is disqualified, can you reappoint him? No. If he is not interested to be reappointed, can you reappoint him? No. If you have appointed some other person, can you reappoint him? No. If you don't want him to be reappointed and you pass a resolution in the meeting saying that you should not be reappointed, can you reappoint him? No. Which means to reappoint him, he should not be disqualified. He should not have expressed his unwillingness. No special resolution has to be passed. Correct? Yes or no? So you please understand, every retiring auditor may be reappointed. Can you see this word? May be reappointed. What do you mean may be reappointed? There is no compulsion to reappoint him. He can be reappointed. But to reappoint him, he should not be disqualified. He should not have expressed his unwillingness, and there should not be any special resolution passed in the meeting that appointing some other auditor or expressly stating that he should not be reappointed. Are you getting my point? So every retiring auditor is eligible for what? Reappointment. Every retiring auditor is eligible for reappointment. Now when a retiring auditor who is eligible for what? Reappointment. When retiring auditor who is eligible for reappointment is not being reappointed. Come on, you tell me. When a retiring auditor eligible for reappointment is not being, because his term expired, he could have been reappointed. Okay, his term expired, he could have been reappointed. He could have been being removed. After his term expires means his term has got over. And he is eligible for reappointment. His term has got over and he is eligible for what? Reappointment. But he is not being reappointed. Think of the situation. I am the auditor of a company. Today is the 6th AGM. My term ends today. My term ends today. Okay. I am not disqualified actually. I really want to become the auditor again of that company. But the company is not reappointing me. Are you getting my point? I am not disqualified. I am interested to be the auditor of the company again. But the company is not reappointing me. There is where I am called as removed after my term expires. This is called as removed after my term expires. Are you getting my point, my students? Because this is something which you should know. There are 2 kinds of removal. Removal before expiry of term and removal after expiry of term. Removal before expiry of term and removal after expiry of term. Okay. Now, which is more dangerous? Removal before expiry of term or after expiry of term? Which is more dangerous? Removal before expiry of term or after expiry of term? Correct. Before expiry of term is more dangerous because if there is a term which is defined and you are being removed before your term expires. That is why to remove an auditor before expiry of term is not easy. Before expiry of term is not easy. Now, to remove an auditor before expiry of term, there are some things which have to be done. So let's look into how auditor is being removed before his term expires. How auditor is being removed before his term expires. Now, see. So basically, to remove an auditor before expiry of his term, first look at this. Don't look at this now in the way it is given here. I'll tell you how it works. First, you have to pass a board resolution. Take a book and a pen, write it. Okay. First step will be passing a board resolution. Now, once you pass a board resolution, what do? You will file an application to the central government within 30 days of the resolution. Okay, so first the board of directors will pass a board resolution, and within 30 days of passing such board resolution, you will file an application to the central government to get their approval to remove the auditor. That means you need to get the approval of the central government to remove the auditor. So within 30 days of passing the board resolution, you make an application to the central government. Now, then you wait for the central government's approval. Okay, Once the central government approves, you call a general meeting within 60 days of the receipt of the approval of the central government and pass a special resolution. So the most important resolution is a special resolution. But the special resolution can be passed only with the approval of the central government. And approval shall be obtained only if you file an application with the central government. To file the application, you need to pass a board resolution. Are you getting my point? So the chronology is, first you pass a board resolution. Within 30 days of passing the board resolution, you make an application to the central government seeking their approval. Now once the central government approves, you within 60 days call a general meeting, pass special resolution, remove the auditor. Okay, so to remove an auditor before his term expires, you need to pass special resolution within a period of 60 days from the date of approval given by the central government. Okay, this is how it is difficult to remove an auditor before his term expires. But to remove an auditor after his term expires is not such an issue. Why? Because basically his term is over and it is your wish whether you want to reappoint him or not. Are you getting my point? So, when you are appointing some other auditor other than the retiring auditor, it is a removal after expiry of term. Or if you pass a resolution in the general meeting saying that you should not be reappointed, that is also removal after expiry of term. There you need not require any approval of central government, etc. When the term expires and you remove it. Are you getting my points? Central government will come into picture only when the removal is before expiry of term. If you see the IPCC question papers which have been examination questions, one of the most repeated question is removal of auditor, that to removal before expiry of term. Most repeated question. Number of times. You know why? Because everybody learns qualification, everybody learns disqualification, everybody learns appointments. The moment they reach removal, they are tired and they don't learn it properly. And that is where the institute hits you. They know where to hit. Do you understand? So please learn this properly. Removal before expiry of term and removal after expiry of term. Okay? Now listen to me carefully. There is something called as reasonable opportunity of being heard. That means whether you are removing him before his expiry of his term or whether you are removing after the term expires, you should give the auditor the reasonable opportunity of being heard. Which means what? If the auditor wants to make a statement, he should be allowed to make a statement before he is being removed. That is the principle of natural justice. Before removing a person, give him the right to make a statement. So what will the auditor do? He will make a statement in a reasonable length and he will submit the statement to the company. What should the company do with the statement given by the auditor? The company should actually attach this reasonable statement or the letter of representation it is called, given by the auditor with the notice of the meeting. It should attach. In case due to some reasons the company is unable to attach it with the notice, the company shall read out the representation letter in the general meeting. Read out the representation letter in the general meeting. This is called as reasonable opportunity of being heard. It is called as what? Reasonable opportunity of being heard. Listen to me carefully. Reasonable opportunity of being heard. Now listen to me carefully. Another very important question. Now there is something called as 140 subsection 5. There is something called as 140 subsection 5. Mark it as very, very important. 140 subsection 5. Now what is 140 subsection 5? This is removal by the tribunal. Removal by the tribunal. Now what do you mean by removal by the tribunal? Now this clearly means, listen to me carefully, the tribunal suo motu or an application made to it by the central government or by any person concerned, if it is satisfied that the auditor of the company has, whether directly or indirectly, are you listening to me or are you just looking at me? You listen to me and repeat with me, then only you will understand. Whether directly or indirectly acted in a fraudulent manner or abetted or colluded in any fraud by or in relation to the company or its directors or officers, it may by order direct the company to change its auditors. Superb, no? 140 subsection 5, which means the tribunal suo motu, that means if they themselves feel, or there is an application made to the tribunal by the central government or any other person concerned. So tribunal receives an application and tribunal is satisfied that the auditor, whether directly or indirectly, is acting in a fraudulent manner, abetment, collusion, that means coming together with whom? With the directors of the company or the officers of the company and doing some fraud. Then the tribunal can order for change of auditors. Tribunal can order for change of auditors. Are you getting my point? 140 subsection 5. 140 subsection 5. Removal by the tribunal. This is only when the auditor acts in a fraudulent manner. The tribunal suo motu, application made to it by the central government or by any person concerned. But however, one point you should always be understand is, if the application is made by central government, the order shall be passed by the tribunal within 15 days of receipt of such application. Where the application is made by central government, the tribunal shall pass the order within a period of 15 days of the receipt of such application. I repeat, if the application is made by central government, the tribunal will pass the order within 15 days of the receipt of such application. Within 15 days of the receipt of such application. That is only when the application is made by the central government, and the central government will be requested to appoint the auditor. The central government will be requested to appoint the new auditor. Do you understand? This is when the application is made by the central government. Okay. Now it may be noted that whether an individual or a firm against whom the final order is passed, they will be disqualified for a period of how many years? 5 years. They shall be disqualified for a period of 5 years from the date of passing of the order. They will be disqualified for a period of how many years? 5 years from the date of passing of the order. That means once you are removed under 140 subsection 5, you will be disqualified for a period of 5 years from the date of passing of the order, is what the subsection says right now. Do you understand? So there is a disqualification for the auditor for a period of how many years? 5 years from the date of the order. 5 years from the date of the order. 5 years. 5 years. Disqualification for a period of how many years? 5 years from the date of the order. Please understand, here there is something very tricky right now. Do you remember 141 subsection 3, where auditor will be disqualified from being appointed as auditor of a company if he has been convicted by a court of an offence involving fraud and 10 years has not elapsed from the date of such conviction? Do you remember that? 10 years has not elapsed from the date of such conviction. That means if you are an auditor and you have been you have been convicted by the court of an offense involving fraud, you will be disqualified for a period of how many years? 10 years. Now look at 140 subsection 5. If you act in a fraudulent manner and the tribunal passes an order against you and you are removed under 140 subsection 5, you will be disqualified for a period of how many years? 5 years. So please get this right. You can get this in correct or incorrect or MCQ question. In case of 141 subsection 3, it is 10 years. But in case of 140 subsection 5, they have given 5 years. Both in case of fraud only. But there the conviction is by the court. Here the order is passed by the tribunal. Are you getting my point? There it is 10 years, here it is 5 years. You may get an MCQ question or a correct or incorrect question. So please be very, very careful about this particular number of years that is given here in 141 subsection 3 and 140 subsection 5. This is removal of auditor. 140 subsection 5, examination perspective, very, 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 very important. We understand? Very, very important. Okay, fine. So as far as appointment of auditor is concerned, as far as removal of auditor is concerned, qualification of disqualification of auditor is concerned, these are all questions which can be expected in the exam. Do you understand? See, the problem is from the last few examinations, they have not asked much from company audit. So I feel then there could be a situation where company audit might be asked a little bit more in the coming exams. Yeah, coming exams. Okay. See, Satyam's case, if there is an application made to the tribunal only, if the tribunal decides, it is 5 years. Satyam's case, if it is going to the court, then court will decide from the date of conviction by the court 10 years. Do you understand? So you have to check whether the question talks about conviction by the court or the order passed by the tribunal. That is where you have to be very careful. If this is conviction by the court, from the date of conviction 10 years. If it is order by the tribunal, from the date of order by the tribunal 5 years. Okay, so please be very careful there. Okay, that is something MCQ or a correct or incorrect question can be expected from the examination perspective. Okay, fine. So now what I have to discuss as far as company audit is concerned, do you know rights of auditors? Do you know rights of auditors? Rights. Yeah, rights of auditors. Now, rights of auditors, sometimes from the examination perspective is important. I don't want to waste much time on rights of auditors, but still right to access book. There are some five rights. Okay, one is right to access books, records and documents of the company. Then you have something called as right to require information and explanation from the officers of the company. Then you have a right to make and sign and submit audit report to the company. Okay, these are three simple rights. One is right to access books. Yes, right to access books, accounts, vouchers, all those things from the company. Now, I'll ask you a few questions. I want answers from you. Okay. Now, does an auditor have the right to access minutes book of board meetings of the company? Does the auditor have the right to access minutes book of board meetings of the company? Yes, because please listen to me carefully. Now I know you all know the answer, but what I want is the correct explanation, which sometimes students might make a mistake. Now the correct explanation here that you have to understand is, when I say can access minutes book of the board meeting of the company, it is because the right to access books. Now the books mentioned here is not just books of accounts. The books mentioned here is not just books of accounts, it is books. What do you mean by books? Books means all books. Books means all books. Statutory books, statistical books, non-statistical books, memoranda books. Please listen to me. This is very important. I know everybody knows the answer. Yes. But what I'm trying to say is the reason is important. When you say minutes book, it is not an accounting book. It is a statutory book. It is not an accounting book. It is a statutory book. And when I say books, it is all books. It is what? All books. That means it is not just relating to accounting records. Even statutory books can be accessed by the auditor. Are you getting my point? If you remember SA 500 audit evidence, if you remember SA 500 audit evidence, SA 500 audit evidence includes information underlying the accounting records, also other information. Audit evidence includes information underlying the accounting records, that is basically the accounting books, and other information. That means it is not accounting books but other information. Minutes book comes under other information in SA 500. Are you getting my points? In company audit, when you say books, it includes all books, but I am just trying to say even in SA 500 audit evidence, they are saying audit evidence is not just accounting books, not just vouchers, even certain other information can be used. Other information. Are you getting my points? So minutes books comes under statutory books, other information. Okay, so here 143 says right to access books. Right to access books. Are you getting my points? Now next question. Listen to me carefully. Next question. Now in the first rights of the auditor, they say there is a right to access books of the company, books of accounts of the company, and any information from the officers of the company, and require any information from the officers of the company. Okay. Now the second right of the auditor says right to obtain information explanation from the officers of the company. Now I repeat, the first point says right to access books, okay, accounts of the company, and obtain information or require information from the officers of the company. Now there is a second right of the auditor which says right to require information and explanation from the officers of the company. Now my question is, in the first point itself they are saying you can require information from the officers of the company. Again, why there is a second point saying you can ask information from the officers of the company? What is the difference? The first point itself says you can there is a right to access books and any information from the officers of the company. Now second point again says right to require information and explanation from the officers of the company. That is already covered in the first point. Now why do you need the second point again? Now I'll tell you why. See, the first point says you have the right to access books, and when going through that books, if you have some doubts, you can ask them. Okay. Now the second right of the auditor says some things might not be clear from the books. Correct. Some things might not be clear from the books. So you can make inquiries from the officer over and above the information given in the books. Are you getting my points? The explanation that are not given in the books of accounts too. Very good. That is the way you have to say the answer. Do you understand? The first point says when you go through the books, if you have some explanations, do you want some explanations, you can ask the officers of the company. Second point says above and over the books that is there, if you feel there are some information which are not there in the books, you can get those information from the officers of the company, and they are bound to provide that information to you. They are bound to provide that information to you. That is very, very important to know the difference there. Okay. Then, now my next question to you is it the right of the auditor to attend a general meeting or duty of the auditor to attend a general meeting? Is it the right of the auditor to attend a general meeting or duty of the auditor to attend a general meeting? Is it the right of the auditor to attend general meeting or duty of the auditor to attend general meeting? Now listen carefully, my students. Now comes the next tricky thing. See, it is the right as well as duty of the auditor. There is 146, section 146 which has been introduced, my students. In 143, it says right to receive notice of general meeting and attend general meeting. In 143, it says right to receive notice of general meeting and attend general meeting. But you know, there is 146 which says duty to attend the general meeting. Duty to attend the general meeting, which means it is now both the right as well as the duty of the auditor to attend the general meeting. Are you getting my points? This is one of the biggest changes that has come in Companies Act 2013. Because in Companies Act 1956, it is only the right. Now, what is the difference being right and duty? When it is a right, you can do if you want. When it is a duty, it is an obligation to do. That means now it is a must for the auditor to attend which meeting? General meeting. It is a must for the auditor to attend which meeting? General meeting. Are you all getting my points? It's very, very, very important and tricky. Understand, it is a right as well as the duty of the auditor. Now, if the auditor does not attend the general meeting, is he obligated? Yes, he has an obligation. It is a duty. Section 146. Section 146, are you able to understand? So please understand, it is a right as well as duty of the auditor to attend general meeting. And when they say duty to attend, either by himself or by appointing an authorized representative. Now the authorized representative so appointed shall be a person who is duly qualified to be appointed as auditor of the company. Do you understand? Either you attend by yourself or you appoint an authorized representative to attend a meeting on your behalf. Please don't write proxy, authorized representative. The authorized representative must be a person who is duly qualified to be appointed as auditor of a company. Now, in case you are unable to attend, you'll have to inform the company beforehand and obtain the leave of absence from the company. Okay, right to attend general meeting, right to attend general meeting and duty to attend general meeting. Do you understand? It's very important to know. 143 talks about rights, but there is a new section 146 which talks about duty to attend general meeting. Duty to attend general meeting. Okay, now my next question to you is, can the auditor speak at the general meeting? Can the auditor speak at the general meeting? He can attend a general meeting. He needs to attend general meeting. Can he speak at the general meeting? Now my students, what you have to understand here is, he can speak at the general meeting only on those matters which concerns him as auditor. Are you getting my point? He cannot speak like any other member. He is not a member of the company. He can speak only when it concerns him as auditor. He has the right to be heard on those matters which concerns him as auditor. Are you getting my point? He cannot speak on any matters which happens in the meeting. Imagine companies is going to discuss about amalgamation. They are trying to amalgamate with another company. There is a takeover going to happen. You cannot get up and say, "So I have a small request. Why don't you do amalgamation? You throw off this director. That is much better." No, you cannot make such comments in the general meeting. Are you getting my point? You can speak only on those matters which is concerning the auditor. He has the right to be heard only on those matters which concerns him as auditor. Are you getting my points? It's very, very important to know. He does not have the absolute right to be heard in the general meeting. He does not have the absolute right to be heard in the general meeting. Are you getting my point? You may get this point as correct or incorrect question or an MCQ question. Okay, fine, MCQ question. Now this is what is about right as well as duty of the auditor to attend general meetings. My next question to you is just a small, very simple question. Is it the duty of the auditor to attend extraordinary general meeting? Is it the duty of the auditor to attend extraordinary general meeting or only annual general meeting? Is it the duty of the auditor to attend extraordinary general meeting or only annual general meeting? my students, do you understand where you're going wrong? It is the precision with which we have to learn. The amount of concentration we require when we read sections and read textbooks. What did I say? Duty to attend. General meeting. General meeting. General meeting means what? Both annual general meeting and extraordinary general meeting. So the answer is he is duty bound to attend both annual general meeting and extraordinary general meeting. Are you getting the problem that you are facing? You have to be precise. Being the last lecture, I wanted you to make, that is why I am making it very interactive, to make you understand your mistakes. You should be very careful. You've got more time to prepare. Read each and every sentence. Don't make mistakes. General meeting means both annual general meeting and extraordinary general meeting. That is what is called a general meeting. What is a general meeting? General meeting includes both meetings, annual general meeting and extraordinary general meeting. Are you getting my points? Do you understand your mistakes? This is what happens for students. There are many students who have written like this. The first auditor of a other than government company shall be appointed by the board of directors within 30 days from the date of registration of the company. And if the board of directors fails to appoint, they shall inform the members who shall within 90 days attend general meeting appoint the first auditor. Many students will write general meeting appoint the first auditor. Now what is the mistake here? If you write general meeting, the meaning will be as if you can appoint in annual general meeting or extraordinary general meeting. But what is first auditor's section saying? It is general meeting or extraordinary general meeting? It is only extraordinary general meeting there. The moment you write general meeting, the meaning includes both the meetings. So if in some section, if it is written extraordinary general meeting, you should write extraordinary general meeting only. You cannot write general meeting there. Because the moment you write general meeting, it will include both. Please understand where you are going wrong. It's about reading. It's about concentrating. It's about the presence of mind. Even in examination, the same thing happens. Are you getting my points? So you should be very, very careful when you focus and read. This is where students go wrong. I want everyone to understand your mistakes and correct your mistakes. Okay, that is very important. Now last one more right that is here. It is right to lien. It's what? Right to lien. L-I-E-N. Right to lien. That means auditor, when he is not paid his, when he is not given his fees, when the company is not giving fees to the auditor, he is an unpaid auditor. He has the right to lien. He has the right to lien. Now what is right to lien? Retain. He has the right to retain. Now what is he going to retain? He is going to retain the books of accounts of the company. He is going to retain the books of accounts of the company. So whatever books of accounts is there with him, he will retain it. Whatever books of accounts is there with him, he will retain it if his fees is unpaid. If his fees is unpaid, that is called as right to lien. That is called as what? Right to lien. Whenever right to lien means whenever the auditor is not paid his fees for the work he has done, he has the right to lien over the books of accounts of the company. Okay, please understand, it's a right to lien over the books of the company. Don't write right to lien over the audit report. Audit report is a property of the auditor. Okay, here you are leaning or you are withholding the books of the company which is given to you. The books of the company which is given to you for the purpose of the audit. Do you understand? And there are few conditions which needs to be satisfied if you have to apply right to lien. And those conditions are not given by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, but the condition is given by Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. Those conditions are given by Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. There is an Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales which comes with certain conditions which needs to be satisfied with respect to right to lien. With respect to what? Right to lien. 4 conditions. Okay. Condition number 1. One, the books that you keep on lien should belong to the client who has not paid the fees. The books that you keep on lien should belong to the client who has not paid the fees. Condition number 2, the books should have come to your possession. The books should have come to your possession through authorized means. The book should have come to your possession through authorized means. Third, you should have completed the work on those books. And fourth, you can keep only those books for which the fees is pending. You can keep only those books connected with the fees pending. Only those books connected with the fees pending. I repeat, 4 conditions given by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales so that the auditor can use right to lien. Condition number 1, the books should be the books of the client who has not paid the fees. Condition number 2, the book should have come to the possession of the auditor through authorized means. Condition number 3, you should have completed the work on those books. Condition number 4, only those books which are connected to the fees which is pending can be kept as lien. Only those books which are connected to the fees which is pending can be kept as lien. Now I know there are some doubts that you have. I'll clear it. 1. This stand is taken by Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. But Institute of Chartered Accountants of India does not allow right to lien. But we are learning Companies Act. And Companies Act is taking the conditions as per the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. So you have to learn these 4 conditions. Okay, when to come to CA final, you will be learning about the professional ethics of a chartered accountant. Okay, so that's what I said. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India clearly says that a chartered accountant cannot exercise right to lien over the clients. That is as per the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. But my students, you are learning Companies Act 2013. And the Companies Act 2013 is taking the explanation as per the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales for this purpose. So in the examination, when the question comes, you should write these 4 conditions based on the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. That is why I clearly said it is not as per the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. It does not allow right to lien. Are you clear? So practically Indian Chartered Accountants, India, it is not possible. And point number 2. As per section 128 of the Companies Act 2013, the books of accounts of the company shall be maintained at which office? Registered office of the company. So when you have to shift the books of accounts from registered office to any other place in India, you need to pass board resolution. Remember, 7 days, inform the ROC and all that. So practically in India, to do all this, you have to actually follow the conditions as per what? Section 128. So that is why in India, it is not possible, to shifting the books of accounts from the registered office to the chartered accountant's place, and all those things are not possible. Are you getting my point? So 128 will not be violated if you pass the resolution and all that. But what you should understand here is examination perspective, right to lien is there. It has 4 conditions given by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. Are you getting my points? Okay. Now, now I want you to answer a correct or incorrect question. Okay. I'll tell the question. You type whether answer is correct or incorrect. Okay. Okay. I'll dictate the question. You tell me whether it is correct or incorrect. Okay. Now, the right of lien of an auditor is not unconditional. I repeat, the right of lien of an auditor is not unconditional. Answer correct or incorrect? Now you see, it's a very tricky question. I said not unconditional, which means it is conditional, which means the statement is correct. Right of lien of an auditor, not unconditional, means conditional, which means statement is correct. These are the types of questions which comes in correct or incorrect questions in your exam, where you get confused. You should read the question very, 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 very carefully. Okay. You should read the question very, very carefully. Okay, these are the rights of the auditor. So the reason why I made this session very interactive is to make you understand your mistakes, because all these sessions were mostly one side. I was keeping on giving you the points and you were keeping on listening to me. Now I wanted you to realize your mistakes, where you are going wrong, reading the question you are going wrong. Sometimes you are little in a haste. You are little in a haste to what? To give your answers. You are becoming too much hyperactive to give your answers. Where you go wrong, you should be calm. You should not be in a hurry. Be calm. Read the question carefully. Write your answers. Do you understand? Theory papers are actually easy to crack if you give patience to how you learn. Okay, patience is required. Break your subject into small pieces. Learn bits and bits every day. Write and learn. Very, very important. Conduct test papers. Conduct test papers. Okay, in my Telegram channel, I put test papers. You write those exams. I'll put the answer key. You take the answer key and correct your papers. 3 months, a lot of time to write exams. Correct yourself. Make this your final attempt, the last attempt of your intermediate. Finish off your exams in this attempt. It is possible. There is a lot of time to do it. All these revision lectures that I have taken these 6 days are there in your YouTube channel. You can view it, pause it, read it, once more review it. You can do whatever required. You can take your own time to prepare. Those who even did not have any understanding of audit could easily get the understanding of audit with these revision lectures. And one suggestion is, don't try to use other materials. Best is to go for the institute material. Old syllabus students, you can use the new syllabus material. Go through institute RTP. Go through the institute MTPs. Go to institute previous question papers. You cannot get a better book than the institute material. Did you see when I taught here all these days, I always focused on the institute material. That is why what happens, what I teach and what you learn, it is the same. Sometimes what happens when we go for other materials, it is actually good to understand the subject. But what we read in that book and then what we read from the textbook might be a little different. There is where the confusion comes. We fail to understand the RTP. We fail to understand the MTPs. Okay, so what you have to understand is, go through the institute material, focus on the institute material, try to give maximum time in your institute material, because you have got time to prepare. You can actually go through it. Okay, so all these some 10-12 hours of lecture that I have given to you, maximum coverage of the topics that I have done to you. Okay, thank you so much for being such a good audience. Yes, initially I started giving lectures recorded, then I took a live lecture. Once I took a live lecture, I don't know, I started loving giving the lectures live rather than recording it and uploading it. A wonderful experience. I will not remove those videos. Anything for the students, don't worry, I will not remove those videos. Those videos are for you. It is for you to learn. I will not remove it. Don't worry. You can view it number of times. You can again learn it. It is for you people to learn and study. We faculties, we are not able to come to you offline and teach you. That is why we are trying all the methods online to give you the best. Do you understand? I have many more batches coming up. That is why I am not able to extend these revision lectures. But anyways, the exams have been extended. So we will try to come up with we'll try to come up with the new revision lectures possible. Okay, Telegram channel link actually I have given in the description. If you cannot find it in the description, I would suggest that you can, as I told you, you can just it's an open it's a public channel. So I think if in Telegram, if you go and you can just type CA one second. You can just type CA Audit CA Inter hyphen Avinash Kulur. Audit CA Inter hyphen Avinash Kulur. So you can easily get the channel. It's a public channel. You understand? So Audit CA Inter hyphen Avinash Kulur. Okay. Many of the students, I see them every day giving me messages. Thank you so much for responding and making me come live to these classes. This has become like a badge to me. the same emotion of finishing off, the same emotion of finishing off a batch offline is coming for an online batch also. It was a great experience for me teaching online. I never thought that I will be able to give you the live classes online like this. So let's please study, do it really well. Please give me your feedbacks in the through WhatsApp or Telegram about the classes that we have conducted. Please give me your feedback about the revision lectures. Yes, please make sure so that I also get to understand how you had the class, So please give me your feedback and any areas that I need to improve and make it more better the next time I come. Okay, so thank you so much. I've just typed my number there, so please give me the feedback of the class so that I understand how the experience was in the revision lectures that you got in the past 6 days. Thank you, Lakshya CA Campus, for giving me this wonderful opportunity of taking live classes in your platform, giving maximum reach to the students. Thank you, Neerav sir, for teaching me how to go live properly in a good platform. Neerav sir has played a great role in this, and so it is so. And thank you to my family, my wife and my child. He's 10 months old. They have it's not easy for them also to create the space and the time and my peacefulness to teach and come and teach you and give the lectures. So it was extremely nice. It's extremely happy moment for all of us that we have done whatever is possible. So until we meet the next time, maybe another revision class before the examination, or we'll meet up in CA final. When you read CA final, I hope that I will get a chance to teach you audit in CA final, and hoping to see you in CA final also. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Study well, focus well, and be the winners in this examination. Thank you, everyone.